we are out here with our sister in unity in the fight against police brutality and police murder. And it doesn't matter, as Dr. Martin Luther King said, it doesn't matter about the color of one's skin. It's the injustices that they have been perpetrated upon. And surely, we can see clearly that our sister here is white, and many of us are black. But we stand in unity on this day before Dr. Martin Luther King day and say that justice against one of us by the police department is justice against all of us. That's what we're here for, and that's why we stand here today. Listen, we've been in this fight a long time with this sister and her family, and they've came to many rallies with us, whether it was Tamir Rice or Malone's or whatever. They were always there with us, and we will always be there with them. Now we're going to move into the studio, and anything you want to say out here, you're welcome to say. I don't want to make a popsicle out of it.
I'd like to say that we are here today to address the police killings of people across racial and ethnic lines. Standing with Daniel Ficker's mother, they crossed jurisdictional lines to go to Parma to kill that young man. We want them prosecuted, and they are no longer on the job. We also call for Cleveland Mayor Frank Jackson and Calvin Williams, the police chief, to pursue internal charges against the police officers that killed Tamir Rice, not only for excessive force, but for all the malfeasance associated with that 12-year-old young man. And we are here to call for justice for Tanisha Anderson, for Melissa Williams, for Timothy Russell, for Brandon Jones, and the many black people across this spectrum that have been done in by police. We are also here to hug Ms. Ficker, who has been through a lot, and that little settlement is not going to bring Daniel back. We've had enough, and we say no justice,
no peace.
No justice,
no peace. So on this historic time right now, thinking about Dr. Martin Luther King, we will all embrace our sisters and brothers right here to show that we are unified in this cause.
My brothers and sisters throughout my fight, they've been my support system. I just thank them for always being there for us, and I felt like I needed to be there for them. It's so important. Support is important, especially when you lose a child. When you lose a child, it's something you can't even comprehend, I'm sure. So for me to be there for them and for them to be there for me, it's just, it's something that needs to be done for sure. So I just feel like I need to say thank you to everyone who's always been there supporting us over the past 5.5 years, and to these people who have stood with me on the lines, on the sidewalks, on the holding up our signs, whatever we've done. Just want to say thank you, and it is time for unity, that's for sure.
So all right, that's fine. All right, so now I had to take you through all that to bring you right here, okay? When Mayor Frank Jackson took office in 2006, this 17, all right, 2006, he vowed, we were right in the meeting with him, he vowed that the first thing he would do was, you heard him, reform that police department and make them accountable. Your son was murdered in what year?
2011.
2011. So these policies were implemented with Chief McGrath and all of them in 2006. I'm showing you how hypocritical this is. All right. Your son was murdered in 2011. Was any of the policies that the mayor implemented in 2006 pertaining to your son, were they carried out?
Absolutely not.
Tell us why not. What happened?
I mean, they crossed the lines. One of them used deadly force, and according to what the mayor just said, the other one should have done something about it, because he was just as accountable for the one who used the deadly force. So they were both guilty.
They were both guilty. So Ms. Ficker, you see why our fight fight must continue because this was in 2006. I thought that your son's case would be a no-brainer.
Right.
You know, I mean, when it comes to no-brainers, I thought this was a no-brainer. Cleveland police going to Palmer, messing with your son at his house in front of his fiancee, armed, killing him in front of his fiancee, giving you all this grief. It should have been a no-brainer. They were wrong.
Right.
Is that the way you feel, Ms. Ficker?
That's absolutely the way I feel. I could never understand, number one, what took so long. Number two, everybody saw what I saw. Not just, I mean, they were actually police officers that saw what I saw, that believed what I believed, that saw that they did things that were wrong. So when Mayor Frank Jackson, you know, the city didn't want to do anything to the officers, when they didn't want to apologize or acknowledge any wrongdoing, it you know, was very frustrating to go over years and years and years of trying to get them to see or understand or even say a word to us about anything because, you know, everybody saw what I saw. So what Mayor Jackson, what are you not seeing? What's the Cleveland, you know, Police Department, what are you not seeing that those officers did wrong? Why did it take so long? Why? I don't understand, I guess.
So Ms. Ficker, so it is apparent to us as we look in retrospect, if you all hadn't have fought this case the way you did, if you all had just rolled over and went away, it would have all been over, wouldn't it?
Underneath the rug. Yep. Mm-hmm.
And you saw that, didn't you?
Yep. Absolutely.
And that's why when even and many times we were at rallies and for other slain people.
Mm-hmm.
And I saw the pain on your face, but you didn't let that pain for your husband or your family deter you from coming out there for Tamir Rice, coming out there for the 137 shots. You were there.
Yes.
You were there. Why did you feel you needed to be there?
Because I felt like we were all in it together. We were all seeking justice for a loved one who was killed by the Cleveland police. So we all were looking for justice. We all needed to support each other. We all needed each other. So I felt that it was important to be there.
So in reality, Ms. Becker, I mean, as colored as it is, to use those words, this really isn't about black and white, is it?
No, it's not.
That's a very important point. It's really not about black and white.
Right.
It's about justice, isn't it?
That's right.
I know in many cases it turns out to be black and white, but we are standing here today in the same similar situation.
Yes.
And in the end, it's not about black and white. It's about justice.
That's right. It's about justice.
And that's what your fight was about. Not black and white. It was about justice.
Yes.
And we saw that when we fought right along with you. This ain't about no color.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? We understand that what happens the majority of the time, but in the end, all you wanted was what you was justice, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. So listen, I don't want to hold you. I hope you warm up a little bit. I'm sorry.
I'm good.
But I don't want to hold you. But for our millions of listeners that's listening right now, and my phone lines are trying to light up, would you please take us through a short scenario on what happened and bring us up to speed?
On July 3rd, my son, his fiance, and their 2 children attended a party at the home of a Cleveland police officer. My son's fiance was cousins with the officer's wife. They were at this party in the afternoon, 3 o'clock to 5 o'clock. They left the party during the day. They went on to another party. Somewhere during the time, the wife said apparently some jewelry was missing, which I today still do not believe there was ever jewelry missing, even if there was jewelry at all. And she accused my son of taking this jewelry. So she calls her husband, who is a Cleveland police officer. He's off duty now. He calls via cell phone another Cleveland police officer who's on duty. Instead of doing the right thing like you or I would do, would be pick up the phone, call the police, and file a police report if someone has stolen something from their homes.
Yes.
Instead, they backdoor it. They make that phone call. The 2 of them get in the car together, the Cleveland police car. They drive out to Parma. They gave the supervisor limited information. The one officer didn't tell his sergeant that he had someone in the car with him, an off-duty cop. He didn't tell him what he was going to Parma for in depth. He just gave him a little, just enough to get authorization to go into Parma by the Cleveland police, but never called Parma. And that, I don't care who says that you don't have to do that. They do have to do that. They do have to get authorization to go to another city. They didn't do that. They crossed the lines in Parma, went to my son's house to find out about this jewelry. My son was not home. I don't know, 11 o'clock at night, close to midnight. Wait for him to get home. They come home.
Wait for him.
Yeah, wait for him. My son arrives home with his fiance. The two officers, they don't have a search warrant. They're not putting him under arrest. They're not, they can't even talk to him. They have no right to detain him. And what do? Detain him.
Yeah.
Where's the jewelry? What jewelry? What are you talking about? They're both saying, we don't even know what you're talking about. They try to go in there. They're in their yard, in their driveway. They try to get into their door. The one officer grabs my son from his fiance. Their arms are locked together. They're trying to get in their house. He pulls him away. The other officer is talking to his fiance, trying to say, where's the jewelry? She's trying to get her cell phone to call the police. She's trying to call the police on the police.
Yes.
To say, what are they doing here? Why are they here? There's, like I said, it was totally illegal what they did. And anyway, I mean, they were, the officer that detained my son, began to beat him and, ask where the jewelry was, et cetera, and apparently a fight ensued.
Yes.
And they rolled around on the ground a little bit. The other officers arguing with my son's fiance, and the on-duty officer ends up shooting my son. And again, my son was unarmed. That's the main thing here. My son is unarmed. This officer has everything. He's got his taser. He's got his everything he needs to be a police officer on him at the time. And he shoots my son feet, steps, in front of his doorstep, and shoots him. All because of alleged jewelry that was missing, which jewelry was never found. My son's DNA, my son's fingerprints, nothing was anywhere near that jewelry, near that bedroom that jewelry was in. Like I said, I don't even know if there was jewelry even missing.
Listen, all that is minute because they should have never been there in the first place.
Absolutely.
Let's live with this like it is supposed to be.
Yes.
If they'd have followed protocol, they'd have never been there. So all right. So you went through that tragedy.
Yes.
Almost killed you. I know it.
Mm-hmm.
Instead, you still got paid.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, Brother Terry Gilbert, your lawyer.
Yep.
Through you all fighting,
Mm-hmm.
you were finally able to come up with a settlement.
Yes.
Got a nice settlement after all these years. How do you feel?
Well, I feel it's a good question. I don't even know how to answer that question. There's a little bit of feeling that some justice has been served, but not quite, because in the beginning, and we talked about this before, you know this,
Yes.
I was never in it for the money. I just wanted those two officers punished.
I know.
That they should have been terminated. They should have been put in jail. For whatever reason, the county prosecutor didn't find them, they said the shooting was justified. And that's really the justice we were looking for, not a civil suit and a settlement. That's not what we were looking for. We were looking for them to be disciplined, to be fired, to be put in jail. To be honest, that's what we were looking for. They should be in jail today.
So okay, we can wrap this up. You got a nice settlement, if you can call it nice. Okay, you got a monetary settlement.
Right.
For the hard work that you've done so far. But you're not satisfied. What do you really want?
I really want them to be put in jail. I really want the Department of Justice to really, really, really dig into that case, to look at not just my case, all the other cases out of Cleveland where there was unarmed people killed by Cleveland police officers. They need to look at all of those cases together, and those officers need to be prosecuted federally. They need to be in jail.
Yeah, so to make you whole, monetarily, and those officers go to jail, right?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And so you're feeling for all the other parents also.
Mm-hmm.
So day before Dr. Martin Luther King Day, we have a pledge that black, white, or ever, we're gonna fight together, right?
Right.
No doubt about it. We love you so much. We love Child 19. I haven't saw you in a while, young lady. I was wondering where you was at. It's good to see you. No doubt about it. You have a question, anything you want to ask before you go?
No, we're actually going to go out. This will be on Cleveland 19 at 6:30. So we're going to go in the parking lot to put it together.
All right. Ma'am, I don't follow protocol, you know that. But step up to the mic 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Just 1 minute. I'm not going to... give her a mic. 1 minute. That's good. You got that mic?
Yep.
All I want you to do is intro who you are so we can all listen and hear you, okay?
Yep. Hello, everyone. It's Shanice Sunny with Cleveland 19 News. Reporter here today covering this story, and it will be on at 6:30.
All right. Thank you, sister, okay? All right. You take care, all right? All right. So if I may, for 1 minute, okay? Sir, husband, I know, you're not a talker. I want you to come to the microphone 1 minute. All right. Hey, Kiki, that's a hot mic. Yeah, any mic is hot, okay? Yeah, all hot mics, okay? My brother, you know, I've watched you a long time, and I know that the others usually do the speaking, all right? But sometimes, as men, we have to speak what's in our heart, okay? And I just like for you to do that right now, okay?
You know, it's hard to be in Cleveland anymore. We're watching everything happen here, and it just seems like times are getting worse. But the one thing about this whole thing that went down was through all the paperwork and reading everything that Cleveland tried to appeal so many times, and they went down to Cincinnati. And we were talking about crossing the lines. There was only 3 reasons why they should have crossed the lines, and this wasn't one of them.
Yeah.
And this should not have happened.
Yeah. I thank you so much. I thank you so much. I see why the speaker is so strong now. She has a strong man behind her, okay?
Yeah.
Don't say a whole lot, but when he does, it makes a lot of sense. So listen, brother Alvin, did you want to ask the question before I let him go?
Yes, I do. You know, Mr. Ficker, you know that recently, you know, the decreased descent has been, you know, instituted in Cleveland. And as a result, there's
Speak right in that microphone.
a police officer on the force, Steve Loomis, and him sitting on that decree and making judgment for families such as yours. How do you feel about this?
You know what? That union is, I mean, that is their job, to stick up for the police officers. They get paid by the police officers, so of course they're going to stick up for them. But you know, it bothers me when somebody sticks up for somebody who's not right. I understand that you're part of the union, and you have other union members, but if somebody does something wrong, be a man and admit that they did something wrong. Don't stick up for them and fight for them. If they're wrong, they're wrong.
That's how I feel. Because, you know, I mean, in a sense, that by him sitting on this panel, do you believe that it's a conflict of interest by him sitting there?
Absolutely, most definitely.
Okay, I just wanted to bring this out because, you know, in the city of Cleveland, we have to understand that either you're going to be a part of the solution or part of the problem. Mm-hmm. You know, and I've always said that, you know, you cannot put a fox in a chicken house and expect it to come out without feathers all over their face. Mm-hmm. And this is the same thing. It's a conflict of interest. You cannot do that and expect some relief to come out, because at the bottom line is that we want truth and we want justice out of all these cases, and that's all we asking for. As long when the police department start being honest with the people, not just the family but the community itself, then we can see, at least come out and say, hey, okay, we were wrong, we apologize, ABCDFD, and it would instill more confidence. But when you start covering up, saying that, no, well, we'll pay you, but we not going to accept the idea that we were wrong, what sort of scale of truth is that? So, I just wanted that to be clear to the people out there in the audience to understand where we are coming from in the city. Thank you.
All right, listen, I don't want to hold them too long, but I will take a couple.
I don't think they've done enough. That's exactly right. They've remained silent. I mean, they don't acknowledge when they're wrong. They just keep trying to brush everything under the rug. I believe it's, we keep having the same people in charge. How do you change anything when you have all you did was move McGrath from from one position to another position? So, I mean, clean them out, get new people in there, get all the old people out and get new people in. But yeah, they've not taken any responsibility for any of the killings, not only for my son, but for anybody else. And, just want to remind you that they've never come out, they've never apologized, they've never shown any kind of really.
I want to address a few things. Number one, it's the corrupt policeman union. They're in operation because the people have not had a special election to terminate that union. The people can do that at any time and should, but we haven't done that. And then back to all these murders, I heard somebody mention taking protocols. Yeah, they have followed protocol, but the people have not followed protocol. And the protocol requires that people who have complaints fill out an affidavit to file a police report. No police report have been filed in no state by any other people against any of these police that have shot people and killed them. But that's the first start. Then we talk about the people and officers who are not doing nothing about this. They're not the ones. The people are the ones that need to make these changes. I mean, you think the devil going to replace himself? Let's get real. But it's the duty of the people to do that.
All right, I hear you loud and clear. Your point is well taken, Pastor Thompson. No doubt about it.
I hope this helps. It's not too late. And also I want to lay in that those people, the young lady, you and your husband can file a personal lawsuit against those police officers, against them personally. The city cannot defend it, and then that would take an effect. But the city will throw them under the bus when you do that.
You're listening, right?
I'm listening.
Yeah,
I'm listening. I mean, I guess I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't either, but that's Pastor Thompson, a strong suit.
Ask yourself this question. Ask why haven't your lawyer told you that?
All right, we hear you loud and clear, Pastor Thompson, okay?
The Ficker family. I wanted to thank you all personally because a lot of times there are a lot of families that go through this same situation. We've dealt with it on so many different levels, and they allow themselves to be almost trampled over. They'll stop short, and if people if they had gone on to make a stronger stand, we wonder where a lot of families would be right now. So if you could at least let people know what is it in you that caused you all to go on to follow this all the way through, because you all have been at this for a while, when
Yes,
a lot
they
of
have.
other people would
Yes,
have
they
stopped it in about maybe a year, year and a half, 2 years, but not you all.
Like I said another time, my faith has got me through this, because I don't know what else would have got me through this. But you're right, it's less heartache, it's less heartbreaking to just give up and stop and not. I mean, because every time you go through it, you have to bring it up, and you have to go through all these memories, and you have to go through all this over again. So it would be easier, but just to see not only the injustice that was done to my son, but year after year after year looking at others, I said, they can't keep doing this, and I can't stop, because if I stop, I don't want someone else to stop. We have to, do this together, and to see them fight, we have to encourage each other, I guess. So by each one of us, seeing each other keep the fight going, and my son's not here to defend himself, and, I had to do it for him, so I had to keep going.
Tell us a little bit about your
My son was, he was 27 years old. He had 2 children. He loved life. He loved his job. He was an auto technician. He was doing that for 10 years, just right out of high school. He loved picnics. He loved family times. He loved traditions. He just, would do anything for anybody. I mean, it was, he had a lot of customers that he worked on their cars, and a lot of older people, and they'd come and, they came to the funeral and they would say, do you know your son did this? And he came to drop my car off, and he saw that I had flowers sitting in the driveway, and he asked if I wanted those flowers to be planted, and he planted the flowers for this woman. I mean, the stories that these people were telling me that I had no idea, that my son would do. But, he took care of my parents. I mean, like they were his parents. He, would do anything for anybody. He would help anybody. He just, was a very good man, a young man, and had a whole life in front of him that, I'm sure he would have made a difference, and he did make a difference. So he was a good man.
I needed to hear that, because we've been so many places together, and I'd look over in the corner and say, there's a Vickers, and you might have your picture or something, and we'd be somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And there you all were.
Mm-hmm.
But I never really heard that part of your son.
Yeah.
And that's the most beautiful part right there, baby. I see why y'all fought so hard for him, and you had a great son, and he'll live on in all our memories. And wherever we go now, we got the other part of the story.
Right.
That beautiful part of your son, mechanic, straight out of high school.
Straight out of high school.
Yeah, always helping people.
Always.
Great mechanic. Lord have mercy. That's what we're talking about. That's the human side of it.
Mm-hmm.
Where'd you get that from, Daddy? You're mechanical? Inclined? All right, beautiful. Okay, listen, I don't want to keep you any longer, dear, but I just want you to know that we had to have you down here, because we just thank you so much for being so strong and being there. And as we go forward, we'll always be together, okay?
And
give me a little music, honey. Go ahead.
I just want to thank all of you guys, too. I mean, always inviting me, always keeping me involved, always saying, come on, even when some of those times that I didn't want to come on. And I said, I got to go. I just had to be there. So I thank all of you guys, really. You're always with me, and I appreciate it. And, I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart.
Okay, so on behalf, what's your son's name again?
Daniel Ficker.
On behalf of Daniel Fickers, Lord have mercy, we will never let the name of Daniel Ficker be forgotten. We will never. And we will never let the Ficker family go unforgotten in our hearts. We are families forever. Thank you so much, dear.
Thank you, Art.
I appreciate you.
Thank
okay?
you.
I love you.
I love you, too.
All right.
Thank you.
To stand behind people like John Lewis. Get with him. Don't let him stand alone. Don't wait till he's gone to love him. Love him now. Love Art McCoy now. Any leader you got, give him some kind of help. Please don't let him stand alone. If you ain't got time to get out there and march and with us, send us $1.
All right. Oh, go ahead. Brother.
And also, pick up what this election is bringing about. Health care. Why is this man hollering about abolish the health care? See, these people's not going to help us. We need your help. You're the one going to need health care. So stand behind our leaders. Get with them. You don't stay in their gap. The other people is not going to help you. See, the health care going to run just like the car insurance. You ain't got no money, you ain't going to be able to go to the hospital. You ain't got no license. You ain't going to be able to, you can't drive. That's already, don't you see it coming, people? Come on.
One reason, main reason, and that's they get fake news. Now listen, I know you all don't like our president-elect Trump, and I know that some of the stuff he talks about is weird, but he often talks about fake news, whether he using the fake news or somebody else is using the fake news. And I'm here to tell you right now that on 1490 WERE, the Art McCoy University radio show, the University of
Common sense.
we don't use fake news. If you listen, if you view YouTube, Melanated Media News, YouTube, we don't use fake news. So the news you get is legitimate news, but there's a lot of fake news out here. So if they bring out fake news and keep giving you these fake news reports, right, you believe it, then you'll keep doing the same thing over and over again. So if you want to really understand the truth and no fake news, listening to the Art McCoy University radio show, the University of Radio Sense. Brother, I don't want you to miss that article right there because it's tax time and many people are buying fake cars. They buying lemons. Yeah, in other words, you understand? You get your tax dollar, man. You ain't got no car. You get this $2,000 or $3,000 or whatever. First thing you want to do is get you some wheels. And if you get those wheels, listen to read a little bit of the article, son.
The Federal Trade Commission recently ordered used car dealers to provide more information on vehicles.
Site link. There's several fee-based services starting at $3.50 per report. You understand? Some services have more information and spell out the example, whether the car has ever been reported stolen or many of the problems that the dealer try to hide from you. And we got a witness right into the studio. Brother Sam, testify for us.
I bought a car that had a 90-day warranty. The car stopped working after about 95 days.
All right, so that's why
my first car, my very first car.
It's very first car. So that's why it's so important. We keep giving you this because listen, when you get that check, we want you to make sure you check out that car, drive it out the lot. I saw it too many times. The wheels fall off and stop, and you don't get a dime back. So be careful of that, all right? Who's on the phone line? Talk to me.
That the city has to donate compared to the money that the people for the Cavs have to donate for the renovation of the stadium. Quicken Loans, you with me?
Yes, sir.
I'm inclined to say that the owners should pay something along the line of 75%, and the city still pay 25%, and they will be able to fund it better. And I'm just adding this in here, if they had a refined sugar tax versus a tobacco or a sin tax, because there's more that would spread the money out better, and there's more people using that. And I haven't said that. Let me say this and exit. I hear what you're talking about, Sam, when you say they don't put enough money into the inner city. That would be the city outside, the part of the city that's right outside of downtown. But I have mixed feelings on that for this reason. A lot of times public money goes to the needy just so they could feel comfortable repeating the same problems over and over again, including new needy people who wouldn't have had those problems if you hadn't made it comfortable for them to be making the problems again. Do you follow me?
No,
No. Let me say this. Do you know Dan Gilbert is buying up Detroit?
I do.
So he's buying up Detroit. Why can't he not put money in the inner city of Cleveland?
That he has privately funded money, so he could do what he wants with his money. What I'm talking about when I say, what I'm talking about is this. Most of the inner city problems are a result of people being conceived. Keep in mind, I say conceived, not born. Conceived in poverty. They ain't had the money to make the kids. They didn't have the money to take care of the kids, and they didn't show very much interest in taking care of the kids to help them get out of poverty. Consequently, you got a large group of adults who have the problems of people who weren't taken care of well and weren't given good sense of direction. Well, if you give them a lot of money, not all of them, but a big chunk of them, and then you just make it comfortable for the next generation to do the same thing over again, then what good is the money?
Todd,
we're talking about Dan Gilbert.
No, but Todd, we're not talking about giving the inner city people no money. We're talking about you have a car, Todd?
I do.
All right, have you ran through the inner city potholes yet?
Not since I've been here, but I'm hip to it.
All right, well, look, that's not giving nobody no money. That's making our life more comfortable. So when we ride down the street, we don't have to put our car in the shop every time. Have you saw all the abandonment in our city?
I'm conscious of it.
And no, but that's not talking about giving nobody no money. That's talking about senior citizens who've been living in our community for 50, 60 years, and all around them is abandonment. That's not giving nobody no money. That's making their life more better by turning down some of these places and making it more comfortable.
In the interest of time, I'm giving the response that I'm going to give, but I follow what you're saying, and I don't necessarily disagree with it, okay?
Hey, Todd, and we don't necessarily disagree with you. You call more often, okay?
Hey, Todd.
Yeah.
Everywhere Dan Gilmer go, you have black people in property. Everywhere Trump go, you have black people in property. Yeah, you have a black mayor there, you have a black police chief, but look at the rest of it. Detroit, Atlanta, Baltimore. They're playing games with you, brother.
Well,
think another way.
Most of us,
You're not gonna get nothing. You're not gonna get that money. They'll counterfeit that money before you get it.
Well,
That's true.
But
say
say
this too.
I like to make this comment. Why, if you're an American and you're a billionaire, why would you allow other Americans to be homeless? Answer that question, please. If you're an American, why would you do that?
Because the way
Ain't no because, Todd. It's a plain and simple answer. Why? Yeah. Well, Todd, greed. I know the answer you're gonna give me. Something about greed.
Oh, so you don't want me to answer?
Go ahead. No, I want to hear what your answer is.
Okay. To some degree, they do help. To some degree, they do help people get out of homelessness. But $1 billion over a nation of 335 million people is not going to go very far.
Hold on, Todd. I said billionaires. Man, you talking, and see, this is our problem. See, you're defending a problem that needs to be addressed.
It.
Yes,
I'm
you are.
answering
When
the
you
question.
if you can't answer me by saying, why do billionaires who call themselves Americans to allow other Americans to be living in poverty and living on the street homeless?
All right, come on. All right, hold on. I'm gonna let Sam talk, and you talk. Then we gotta go.
I want you to look this up. There's a map online of the top 10 billionaires and where the billionaires are from, and they show that what cities they can buy. Now, these cities with 50, 60, 100,000 people, these billionaires can actually buy entire cities.
All right, okay, all right. Todd, last comment. 1 second, Tom. Go ahead.
The
Todd.
logic is the same as somebody who has $60,000 to $75,000 a year, and they don't have the responsibility of raising the children anymore. The logic is the same as them who have 4-bedroom houses, but they're gonna leave 3 empty before they let you get in there.
Todd, you got the last word. Todd, you got the last word. And we're headed home. Man, I got a big round table in the studio today. Lord have mercy. They all helped march the Fecker family in. Yes, Lord have mercy. That was a beautiful occasion. If you missed the first part of the show, you can always get it on Melanated Media News, YouTube. All right, we're coming live. Listen, it would be sad if in this studio we had this male chauvinist thing going and not let Mrs. Hayes introduce herself.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Maddie Hayes. I've been a resident of Cleveland for a long time, and a lot of things that I've seen the elected officials do in the city has been very disgusting among the councilmen, the mayors, on up to some of the elected officials in and out of Columbus. And I hope everything will change this year, but I don't think so, because we got a mean person in the White House, coming in the White House. Now, Obama, everything he did, they opposed him. The Republicans, they would not let him do his job. So we're going to see what's going to happen in 2017 coming up. Thank you.
All right, so you think that Mr. Hayes is on fire? You ain't saw nothing till Ms. Hayes get on fire.